Tonight, on Closer Look, remembering Lonnie Chum 1 year after her body was discovered on a street in Moose Factory, a remote island community in northern Ontario. Recently, the community gathered to remember the 21-year-old whose death remains an unsolved case. Timmins Today reporter Marissa Lentz-McGrath has been covering this case and joins us now to fill us in with the latest. Marissa, let's start by going back a year ago to November 7th when Lonnie's body was found. She was the victim of a hit and run. Maybe run through what police knew then and perhaps the emotion of the day that rocked a small, tight-knit community.
Yeah, so Lonnie was struck around 2 a.m. on November 7th, 2023. Just after 3 a.m., police received an anonymous 911 call saying that she had been hit. Around 4 a.m., Robert Chum, who is Lonnie's father, who was out of town at the time with his partner, received a call about the incident. Moose Factory, it's a small remote island, and when Lonnie was hit, it was during a freeze-up. And when that happens, the only way to access the island is by helicopter. So when speaking with Robert, he really emphasized that, there were only so many vehicles on the island at the time of Lonnie's death, really insinuating that, someone knows something.
Let's talk about that conversation with Robert Chum, Lonnie's dad. Walk us through what was said, maybe his thoughts and feelings 1 year after the tragedy of losing his daughter.
Robert shared so many wonderful things that he loved about his daughter. Her love for wilderness was one, and how empathetic and caring she was. One of the comments that he made that was really impactful was, Lonnie's killer is still walking among us in this small community. It's like a story in a movie that hasn't ended yet. It's so clear that he's still experiencing so much sadness and anger regarding the loss of his daughter. He so badly wants the person or people responsible to come forward.
What about the community, Marissa? How has it rallied and responded to support Robert and those who were closest to Lonnie?
Yeah, so they've had a couple of walks in memory of Lonnie. They had one back in August and another one a couple days after the first year anniversary of her death.
Okay, let's get back to the investigation for a moment. We know there's 2 vehicles of interest in the investigation. What do we know about them, and what's the latest as police continue to solve this case 1 year later?
At this point in time, all that police have shared is that it's believed that Lonnie was hit by a pickup truck and that there are 2 vehicles of interest that have been identified. Robert has told me that police are giving he and his family regular updates on the investigation. When I last spoke with him at the end of October, he said police visited him in September to discuss some updates.
And police have now doubled the reward for information leading to the arrest and conviction of the person responsible to $100,000. Marissa, are authorities hopeful that this move will have some kind of impact?
Yeah, so in August, it was announced that the provincial government would be offering a $50,000 reward for any information leading to the arrest and conviction of the person or people responsible for Lonnie's death. And on November 7th, the 1 year anniversary of her death, the reward was doubled, with Moose Cree First Nation Council now matching that amount. Police say they believe the community holds key information to solve this crime, and they're hoping that the increased reward encourages anyone with details of any kind to come forward. They feel Lonnie's family and the community deserve to know the truth.
You mentioned a couple of memorial walks and gatherings, and one was recently just held for the family and the community. Marissa, what can you tell us about that day, and how do events tied to tragedies like this help to keep the case in the public eye?
Yes. So in August, like I said before, Robert and his family held a 3-kilometer walk in memory of Lonnie and had about 200 people come out and participate. They walked all the way to where she was last seen on cameras the day she was killed. In honor of the anniversary of her death on November 9th, they walked that same route. Robert has told me that the more you speak about it, the more the word will get out and hopefully the faster it'll be solved. He said at this point, they're really just trying everything they can to make people feel the love that they had for Lonnie and make it known that what's happened, it's not fair.
Marissa, I understand that Robert has used social media as a bit of an outlet. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so while Robert has received, a lot of support from his family, friends, and the community in order to share Lonnie's story and his family's #JusticeForLonnie campaign, he's been continuously posting on social media platforms, particularly on TikTok, about her death and his plea for the killers to be found or to come forward. Almost every post he's made has included a reminder of how many days have passed since she was killed. When speaking with Robert, he told me in response to his videos that thousands of people have been sending him messages of encouragement to keep going. And unfortunately, there's also been a few people who have messaged him who have experienced something similar as well.
All right, Marissa Lentz McGrath from Timmins Today. Thanks for this, Marissa, and for joining us tonight on Closer Look.